Hey everybody, good morning. It's about 10:48 a.m. It's the 7th of December 2021. I'm going to do a little bit of an analysis on some altcoins. I'm not going to be focusing on any indexes or Bitcoin itself. I'm going to be looking at MATIC, POLS, Bitcoin, Satoshi Vision, Loopring, and Dusk. So I'm going to be doing an analysis on these five coins. Before I get into any of this, of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, manage your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. Crypto is highly volatile, and there's a lot of risk involved with it. So just keep that in mind as we go. All right, let's go ahead and move on into the charts and take a look at things here. So first off, I'm going to be taking a look at MATIC. I'm going to remove my indicator from the bottom because a lot of these guys that I'm going to be taking a look at here have already really started to move. So I already have a count on MATIC that I am kind of in favor of. So that's what I'm going to be kind of talking about here. We've got MATIC, which is, again, close to all-time highs again. I would say that MATIC looks a lot stronger than a lot of the other coins that are out there. From the very bottom here, and this is going back into 2019, May of 2019. We've got a nice move up here. I'm counting this as a high cycle wave one, and then a long correction into wave two. So we've got a nice ABC correction here into wave two. How far down did that correct? Well, let's just go ahead and measure that and take a look here. Again, we're going to be looking from the lows, basically where we opened back here. At the low, and just to take ourselves all the way up here to the high. We came down to the 618, which again, that's high probability for a bounce. It went a little deep, but all in all, it worked out pretty well. So I have a trend-based fib extension that I've got off of this from our dominant pivot low to the dominant pivot high, which I've got right here. And then we've got the pullback, right? So we've got our pullback. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. It didn't get it to the penny, but basically taking ourselves down here to 0.006 on MATIC. And then again, let's go ahead and dive into this now, looking at where things have gone from there. So I've got a 1, 2, and then I counted a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a 1. And then we got another 2, another pullback, right? So we've got a 1, 2, and then a smaller degree, 1, 2. And from there, again, we've got a nice 1, 2, 3, an extended 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then, again, in my opinion, that completed that wave 3 on our lesser degree. Now, the bigger question here, the amount of time that it took to complete this wave 2, let's just go ahead and measure this. We're going to get our date range tool here. Going to measure from top of wave 1 to the bottom of wave 2. It took about 81 days to complete that move, to complete the correction. Now, how long did it take to complete this potential for wave 4? Again, okay, so here from the top and working our way out, that took less time. That took 63 days, all right? So with the fact that that wave 4 took less time than the wave 1, it could work with the laws of alternation. And now, if that's the case, right, we should be working on our 1, 2. We should be getting a thrust up to 3, 4, 5. I do believe we're going to get some resistance here at the 3618, which is at about 415. But what I'm going to be looking for is a move up to almost $10, okay? So we've got a couple areas of confluence here. First off, I've got a lot of things circled here that they're all really important. This guy right here is also very important here at the 2618, and that's off of our major 1, 2, okay? If this is our major 1, 2, then what we would expect there to be some resistance at the 1618 to 175, which we've already passed. Okay, we've already passed that, which means our wave 3, our high probability target for a wave 3, is at about 967. We'll call it 950 because sometimes we get a little bit of a front run. 950 more than likely is where I think we're probably going to find some resistance there. Keeping in mind, we're only at about 250 right now, so it does leave room to the upside. Is this a really great entry? No, I don't think it is, at least from a risk management perspective. You would need to cut your losses all the way down here at about 155, okay? That's a significant drawdown from where things are at right now. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're looking to take a trade here, this is not the greatest place to be taking a trade because you're looking at a stop loss of 36%. That's not fantastic. Now, if we get a breakout above 272 and then we get that pullback, kind of like what I've outlined here, and I did this a while back, right? If we get a big push up and then we get the pullback to 272, I would say that'd be a good place to enter because you've got a good area for a stop loss. But right now, you know, if you're looking to take a trade on MATIC up here, you're looking to take a really big risk, a really big gamble that MATIC's just going to keep going up, when in fact Bitcoin is approaching an area of significant resistance. And if Bitcoin pulls back, you can be sure MATIC is going to pull back. I would be looking to to buy dips on this versus buying up here where we're at all-time high. We need to really see a breakout and a retest of that breakout before I would be considering buying at that point. But all in all, I do believe we're going to go all the way up here to about $10. Then we're going to see a pretty steep correction. And I don't know if Bitcoin's going to do this, right? We always talk about Bitcoin going up to 100 to 125,000. But if Bitcoin decides that it does want to go back down to like 32, 33,000, this is absolutely in the cards. This is absolutely a high degree possibility that MATIC can go back down to 70 cents. So if we get a good thrust up here to $10, I'd be looking to get out, because we're looking at a potential 90% drawdown back to, let's say, $1, right, for the wave 4 before we go up higher to potentially our high target of $21. There are targets further to the upside, but I'm trying to be realistic with something that has already, in the last year, has already gone up 20,000%, right? When we're all the way back down here where MATIC was trading at a penny, and now we're up here at about $2.46, do I think there's a high degree of possibility that it's going to go much, much higher? I mean, it's possible, but I think that once we hit this wave 3, we're in for a significant correction. I've got this where it looks steep, but it's likely going to take a lot of time. How long did it take for this correction to complete? Well, that took 295 days, okay? So we're looking at least 6 months, probably longer, for a correction to take place on MATIC. So that's where I'm looking for MATIC potentially. I do think it's possible that we get a thrust up to about $10. I'd be waiting for a breakout at this point because it just, not a really great place to manage your risk. And if you want to throw our moving averages on here, let's go ahead and throw our moving averages. Do I not have moving averages on this chart? It doesn't look like I do. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to throw just a simple EMA on this. Our exponential moving average, that is not the one that I wanted to pull. So let me remove the background that I've got here. There we go. Okay, so I've got our yellow 21 exponential moving average. Let's just look at this. We've got, we're in the bullish zone up here. Things are moving upward. The moving averages are moving upward, which leans for a bullish bias. So all in all, everything actually still looks good, and it really has looked good since all the way back here at about 1.8 cents. So things look bullish, and I think they're going to continue to look bullish. No, I still say that there's not a really good trade here because you'd have to manage your risk here, and that is the, let's see here, we got the 4-hour and we've got the daily, the 21 exponential. It's just not really great for new entries here. Again, I would wait for a breakout and a retest or a more significant pullback down to this area before I'd be looking to take any positions here. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next one, which is POLS. Take a look at this. Polka starter, and this is going to be what we're going to take a look on Binance. Looking at the daily, got a significant move up today. It looks like it is doing a retest of a breakout zone, which is actually, pretty good. I'm going to move down to an hourly on this, just so we can take a look at this. The hourly 21 exponential, we've got a bullish cross on the exponentials here. We've got, a nice retest of this. Taking a trade on this could work. You're only talking about maybe a 6% stop loss. If you're to take a stop loss at these lows right here, that probably could work out. Stop loss at about $4. Currently it's about $4.25. I think it's possible that we could see, continuation to the upside. Again, this is all going to be really dependent on Bitcoin continuing to kind of hold its own and not do a significant pullback. Now, Bitcoin does a significant pullback, you get stopped out. That's just the way that it works sometimes. But I do think, let's see here. Let's go back and take a look. We had a really great buy signal here on the indicator. The weekly is bullish, and you had the 1 hour, the 3 hour, and the 12 hour all in oversold at the same time. Of course, this was all the way back here at about 295, and it's already gone up significantly since then. But you've got a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're getting this pullback, okay? How far did it pull back from our dominant pivot low to our dominant pivot high? We came back down, cut below the 382. Is it possible we come back down here to 390? I think it actually is possible. If you wanted to take a trade, if you wanted to force a trade, you could force a trade right here. It wouldn't surprise me one bit for this guy to do something a little bit like this, where we've got our move down, we get a move up here to about 465, and then we get this move down here to about 390 before we finally do see a move up to new highs. So, we've got a nice little A working on the B, and then we get this pullback. So you can pull a little trade out of this, in my opinion. If you wanted to take this from the opposite side, from an internal retracement standpoint, dominant pivot high to dominant pivot low, get that rejection. I actually drew this just by the eye here at the 50. Possible it goes up to the 618, but I'd be looking to cut this at the 50 and then looking to take this all the way down to here to, again, moving down here potentially to about 390, maybe 380. I would definitely be looking to take a position down here if it moved down. But again, a lot of this is going to rely on Bitcoin doing its thing. But I think this looks okay. So let's keep on going. Let's take a look at Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision. Let's see here. Where do we have Bitcoin Satoshi Vision currently trading? Is there a tethered trading pair on KuCoin? Yeah, I think this one is as good as any. Of course, yeah, that's a pretty significant pullback there that I don't really want to pay too much attention to. But all in all, so here's a couple things from this. Of course, one thing that probably fueled this move up yesterday is the court case with Craig Wright, giving a ruling in favor of him being the Satoshi Nakamoto. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to be a yay or a naysayer on any of that. That's not really my place to make that decision. But if any of those rumors do happen to be true, well, then I think that we've got a good case for a bullish move here. Where did this go? It came all the way down here to the 618. So I think that that BSV potentially could find itself all the way up here at about 257. Now we're currently at 186 and climbing. I think that this is probably something that's pretty healthy. Let's take a look at this on the daily, and I'm going to ignore that wick that we had a couple days ago. Okay, just taking a look at this. From a longer term perspective, and I really want to try and ignore all of those wicks. So let me see if I can put this into perspective. What did we have? Let me get rid of this fib pull. Okay, what do we have rather right now? We had the signs of a parabola that was forming that broke down. We saw a lot of resistance where we're currently at, right? We have a lot of resistance here at the 188 level. So if we can break up above the 188, especially if we can break above 238 or 240, then I think it's very, very possible we go up to new highs. We've got to break up above those levels. Let me just outline the levels that I believe are the most important. One is going to be right here at about 247. We had resistance here. We had resistance all the way back here in the beginning on the KuCoin exchange. We had some support and resistance that got labeled here before a big sell-off. Resistance here, here, tried to find some support here, but eventually did break down. And now we want to go back up there to that 246 level, break 246, find some support there. Then we can see some continuation to the upside to see at least a double in price from BSV. Now, obviously, it would have been great to catch this on this capitulation down here at about $25. You'd be up significantly by now. But that's always hindsight. So I always hate it when people are like, yeah, you could have caught it back here. Well, yeah, but would you have actually put bids down here at $25? And especially if the price was actually moving all the way down here, would you have actually bought? Most people would have been afraid to buy down here. That's just fact of the matter. Not enough history here, and not necessarily that there's not enough history, but the chart just doesn't look great for me to try and even put an Elliott count on any of this right now. So I'm not going to waste time trying to do that. But what I will say is from these lows that we had just a couple days ago, things actually look pretty good. Trend-based fib extension, oh, that's trend retracement. All right, so here, trend-based fib extension from this bottom to this top, and we get the pullback. Let's see if we've hit our potential for a wave 3 target, and we have, right? So this could be, from the local area, a 1, a 2, a 3, working and completing the 4, and then I think potentially we go up for the 5, which again is going right up here about 272, maybe up to 350. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm looking at for Bitcoin Satoshi's vision. Let's take a look at Loop Ring. Let's see here, Discover Investing. I can take a look at Luna. That's no problem. I can definitely take a look at that as well. So Loop Ring, not too bad. We had a good retest off the 21 exponential here on the hourly. And again, I'm looking at the hourly. We had the 1 hour, the 3 hour, and the 12 hour all in oversold at the same time back here. Even if you were to get it back here, this was, a good area. Even though we had a big capitulation, you would be actually in profit if you were to have held on to that. We actually have some hidden bullish divergence here. So we have regular bullish divergence here. Just to take a look at this, we're creating lower low after lower low, where the indicator here, let me just pull this up, the indicator is actually creating higher lows. So this was a bullish sign. We had a channel that we were in that we broke out of, and we were being suppressed by the 21 exponential. We broke up above that, and we just did a bullish retest of that 21 exponential. So the hourly, I would give it some time to reset, but the 12 hour is bullish, right? The 12 hour is bullish. You've got some bullish signs here, even on the RSI. So things look okay for Loop Ring. What would be my upside target for Loop Ring? Well, let's just take a look here. We'll take it from this low to this high. We'll get our pullback. Our upside target, actually, we hit a corrective target here, which is kind of concerning. But our upside target is going to be up here at about 333. So from a profit perspective, you're looking at potentially 32, 33% from where we're at right now. And what would be your risk on that? Well, let's just take a look. If we were to take a long position right here where we're at, I would be taking a stop loss here. That's only 3.7% for potential for a 31%. Now, do I think this is high probability? No, I don't. Would I take this trade here? No, I wouldn't. But if you force me to take a trade here, I would be cutting my risk down here at this wick low. If you wanted to go a little bit further, go maybe 7%, you could do that. You're still looking at a 4.61 ratio on your your risk to reward, which means that we're looking at 31.85% reward for a 7% risk. So that's basically a 4.61 to 1 ratio on that. So there's a trade there. I wouldn't take it, but if you're looking into taking a trade in Loop Ring, I would be looking to average in somewhere in this red area, because again, we've got this area here. We're talking about important levels. We have this area of resistance here, which should become support. So if we had something like this happen, well, then now we're talking about a move to the upside where we get something like this going on. Which, if that's the case, I'd be looking to actually take a trade down there, limit your risk a little bit more, still targeting the upside. So now you're looking at a 40% trade for only a 4% risk. Now you're looking at 9.6 to 1. That's a much better trade, in my opinion. I think that taking a trade here, using this as a stop loss, I think your probability of getting stopped out is pretty high. So I would wait a little bit longer for this to play out, for this to kind of do maybe a slow bleed, maybe look a little bit like what we had back here, but do that nice bullish retest of our longer time frame moving average, and then take a trade from there. Okay, let's take a look at Dusk, and then we'll go ahead and see if we can take a look at Luna and AAVEX. All right, so we're taking a look at Dusk here. Big move up, right? So we had a significant move up. Let me just kind of zoom out. I'm going to take a look at the daily here and see what I've got on Dusk. All right, so let me remove that. That's much older. So I believe that we've got a 1-2 right here. So let's just go ahead and pull this out. If we've got a 1-2, and if this is corrective, right? If this is corrective, it would have stopped right here. I would say our next level of resistance is going to be at about 77 cents, which is almost double from where it's at right now. Of course, it's had a significant move up today. It's gone up 49, almost 50% just today, and that doesn't include what it did yesterday, which is it went up 14%. So all in all, from the lows, it's gone up about 100% from where it's at right now. I talk to the members on the Discord server all the time about getting trapped. I don't like to buy big green candles, and it's gone up again 49% today. So you have to be careful. But this does look like we've got a candidate for a cup and handle. It went down. Let's just go ahead and measure this. And so from what we've got from the low of the proposed cup to the top, we went down about 50%, which is actually good for a cup and handle. We need to see a breakout above 46 cents. If we can get a breakout above 46 cents, well, we're going to keep this on here. I'm going to mark this so that we've got it on the chart, because that's going to be where I'm going to kind of be looking here. But let's go ahead and measure this and get a range expansion on this. From the lows to the highs, our 100% range expansion is going to be up here at about 258. So very likely this is the area that it's going to go. I would say that if we do get a breakout and we don't get a super rejection, then it's probably going to find itself up here. And if you were to take this on a breakout, you'd be wanting to, to manage your risk at least someplace reasonable, but taking profit there, that's still 332%. So I think out of all of these, Dusk looks the best, but it's not the best for an entry right now. Again, I'd still be looking for a breakout and going from there. So let's move on. We've got a couple requests here. Let's take a look at Luna. So taking a look at Luna against Tether. We talked about this a long time ago with 36.63 being support. This was, you can see here, this was a long time ago, 36.63 being support. And we actually did, as much of a retest as we possibly could, holding that as support. Let me go back to the hourly on this and going back to where we actually found that. That 36.63 level, which was here at the 60, at the 618 to 65. This was way back on this move up. We, of course, went a little bit deeper, but that still, since breaking out of that, has been a significant area of support for us ever since then. And again, we went back to retest that, and then, of course, you can see we've launched significantly since then. Just looking at the indicator, we do have some bearish divergence, which probably has already played out. And this is going to be on the 12-hour. Right, so we see we've got a higher high. Let me just go ahead and just look at it from this perspective. We've got the higher high, but then the 12-hour has just been kind of moving down. So that's what has me concerned, that we might be seeing some bearish signs, which if we do see some bearish signs here, let's move from the top here to the bottom. We did cut pretty high. I would actually expect there to be a little bit of resistance, or rather support, where we're at here at about $70. I'm looking to see if I've got the 786 handy. There it is. And we went up to the 786, which means more than likely we're not going to come all the way back down here to 56. But if we did, I would be a buyer there. Taking a look at this, trying to get a little more confluence. Dominant pivot high, dominant pivot low. We get the pullback here, and that's the 100% target. So lots of confluence right here in this area. So if we did come all the way back down here to this 56 area, I would definitely be a buyer out here in this area. Okay, so we've got dominant pivot high, dominant pivot low. We got the pullback to the 786. Well, the negative 236 extension is at 56.25. The 100% from the from a corrective standpoint is right here at 56.83. I would say any buys below $60, below $59 probably are good for longer term. So I would kind of hold off on that, but that's kind of what I'm looking at for Luna. Potentially some more downside. Downside here, we've got the hourly, which is kind of moving down at the moment. The 3-hour is still moving up, right? So it could just kind of move sideways here for a little bit. Maybe get some bearish divergence, maybe make a little bit of a higher high locally, not these highs, right? For this to really work out, we have to see this high hold, right? So just kind of be careful with that. But that's what I'm looking at for Luna. Let's move on to AAVEX. All right, so AAVEX, let's see here. So we've got this low, which we didn't violate. So this looks, okay, so to be fair, it looks like we're going to get a little bit of a pullback. It does look like we've got a little bit of an ending diagonal here on a super low time frame, right? So it does look like we've got kind of an ending move here. So from this low here, potential for a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish that move. That's going to, of course, be on a very low degree. But then we're going to be looking for that correction, right? What I'm looking at here, I'm looking at the 3 hour, which is starting to cross, but the hourly really has gone down quite a bit. So where have we gone down to? Probably the 236 area. It wouldn't surprise me if we came down here to about 88. This level is actually important. I'm going to label that guy as important. We had lots of support here. We did a little bit of a retest. Wouldn't surprise me if we came back down here and retested that again. Beyond that, the next level is going to be right here, which happens to be at the 50. We've got support here, and we've got some resistance over here as well. These are two levels that I would be very interested in. To the upside, we've got levels right here, which happens to be at the negative 236 at about 102.25. We've got support here, support here. So I would expect if we went up there, there should be some resistance there. And actually zooming out a little bit, you can see we've got more resistance here at that same level at about 102.25. So I would expect that to remain resistance. Next level is going to be there at about 111. We had resistance here. You could kind of count this as support. We had resistance, support, and then we had a little bit of clustering here before we finally did break down. Above that, of course, we've got this level to pay attention to at about 120, 126.85. And from there, yeah, of course, we've got all-time highs. I would be looking to buy a pullback on this. I'd be looking at both of these levels between 86 and 88 and kind of going from there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. We've got a little bit of movements going on in the market, so I want to make sure that I pay attention to that. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, and a good evening. Take care, everyone.